AirPods 2 are the best Apple product I've bought. They really are that good. But should you buy them? Or more to the point, should you buy them right now? And what's the fit like now with these new silicone tips? Is it worth spending the extra on these over the AirPods 3rd generation? And am I daft to even dare to mention AirPods Pro in the same sentence as these AirPods Max? That's what we're going to look at in this video. So put your feet up, sit back, and let's find out all about AirPods Pro 2. Hi, I'm David. You'll find me here every week with a new video, keeping you up to date with what's going on in the world of Apple, reviewing their latest products and giving you my honest hands-on opinion about them. AirPods Pro 2 was a product I very nearly didn't buy. Without boring you, let me quickly explain. I've been happy enough with my OG pair of long-stemmed AirPods, but the only thing that started to bug me about them was the lack of any kind of noise cancelling. So last March, even though I'd heard rumours that a new pair may be in the pipeline, I decided to take the bird in the hand approach. Of course, as it turned out, the rumours were true, and at last year's iPhone event, AirPods Pro 2nd Gen were released. I listened to all they had to say at the event and figured that if only a fraction of what they promised turned out to be true, then I needed a pair. I reached for my AirPods Pro 2 more than any of my other Apple products. If I was ever going to make one of those everyday carry videos, and if you want me to, just leave a comment and I'll get to it, AirPods Pro 2 would be the first thing I'd pack. No word of a lie, I literally don't leave home without them. Keys, glasses, AirPods is my checklist as I get ready to head out the door. And I can probably guess what you're thinking though. Could there really be that much difference between a pair of only 6-month-old AirPod Pros and the new pair? Well, I'll let you know all about the sound later. Even though I bit the bullet and bought a pair, it never crossed my mind to make a video about them. In fact, I seem to recall that last September they sat around in the studio for a few weeks before I even unpacked them. I was already happy enough with a pair I'd only bought a few months earlier, so I wasn't desperate to swap them out, which I had been with the first pair from the original AirPods to the AirPod Pros that I bought. But the moment I paired them up and popped them in for the first time, that is when it all changed. One thing that hadn't changed was the fit though. One of the new changes they made quite a feature about at the event was the fact that there were now 4 sets of silicone tips to choose from. Now, in theory, everyone was supposed to get the perfect fit. Of course, you get the ear fit guide on your phone to make sure you have a good seal, as that affects how good the noise cancelling will effectively be. But with all that going on, AirPods Pro still didn't fit me properly. Around the house, they're just fine, of course, but the moment I started to move, they still felt kind of loose, like I might lose one. But today, in fact, just before recording this video, I tried something weird out and it worked. I put the extra small tip on my problem left AirPod and it sorted the fit issue out. For the first time ever in 8 months, I didn't have to touch it once today when I was working out. So if you're having that same problem, try that fix out and let me know how it goes for you. To my mind, the fit on AirPods 2 is still nowhere near as good as that long-stemmed first pair I'd happily used all through lockdown. They still feel better balanced. The fit, though, is one of the few bad things about this pair of 2nd Gen AirPods Pro. Of all the good points, let's talk first about noise cancelling. Apple tell us it's now twice as good, and as much as there's no way I can honestly tell you if that's true, all I can tell you is that for small in-ear buds, these are astoundingly good. I thought my first pair of AirPods Pro were good, but these raised the bar to another level. I think the devil must be at work in that H2 chip that these are packing. I've got no idea what's going on, and even if I was told, I probably wouldn't understand. But all you or me need to know is that it's not hype. How an algorithm can block out noise is way beyond my pay grade. But trust me, it does its job. They're also running a new dedicated driver that, along with the H2 chip, delivers on their promise of both noise cancelling and audio. And I just remembered actually that last year I went and stood under the flight path at Heathrow with these to check them out with the noise cancelling. It was a daft thing to do, as the airport police almost arrested me, but it proved the point when it came to noise cancellation. Adaptive transparency is something I've mentioned before in other videos, but after 8 months or so of daily use, I'm now not so sure about it. It might be working, I just don't know. The trouble is, the noise cancelling is so effective, it's hard to know if it's making any difference or not. In theory, It's supposed to attenuate, and that's a posh audio word for make quieter, loud explosive sounds in real time. I have adaptive transparency switched on, and I leave it switched on all of the time and let it do its thing. But if it's adding to the noise cancelling party at all, I've got no idea. My AirPods Pro spend most of their life set to full noise cancelling, but sometimes it's so effective as to be almost eerie. So recently I've been playing with the transparency mode, which is kind of this happy halfway house. And if you've got an Apple Watch, you can even open up the Noise app when you're using AirPods, and it shows you in decibels the amount of sound that is being reduced by AirPods Pro. If you've got a spare moment, I'd love it if you could check out my channel page. There are loads of videos there that I think you might enjoy. For instance, do you recall those classic Jeff Goldblum ads for the G3 iMac from the late 90s? Well, I found them, and I used them in my recent video that celebrated 25 years of iMac. And I've also looked closely at the mixed reality headset that's supposed to be launched at next month's WWDC, finally. Take a look around, and if you like what you see, then subscribing would mean a huge amount to me. Honestly, it really would. Running these channels doesn't come cheap, and your sub really would help me out. I also record a podcast with Alex from the channel Alex Gear and Tech every fortnight as well. It's called Minus 16, and we regularly bring on some guests, and we get to talk about the business of YouTube, which is something else you might just enjoy. So of course, sound is what these AirPods Pro 2 are really all about, right? And it is so good. The audio is so much better than the first pair of Pros that I owned. I mean, instantly and noticeably better. To my ear, they've concentrated most on the important frequencies, the mids, which are now, the vocals just seem much cleaner and sweeter. The bass isn't overemphasized, but again, better than before, but also managing to stop just short of making your head thump. There's a real Apple sound to these. Apple very much has a sound signature of their own these days in all of their audio products. And if you've ever used any other in-ear buds, then you know just what I mean. I think we're getting to the point though where AirPods should get their own app, much like Apple Watch. Although there's still no independent EQ settings for them, there's now enough going on that a dedicated app would make sense. Most of the settings, of course, you'll find under AirPods, like the tip test and setting up the personalized spatial audio. But then there are some less obvious ones hidden under accessibility, where you can play with the left-right balance, and the headphone accommodations, where you can tune for more balanced tone for vocal range or brightness. You can even adjust the amount of intensity of each setting too. That's why one unified app would make all this easier to find, well, in my mind at least. Something else I was slow to fall in love with was the swipe volume controls on the stem. To start with, I just couldn't get to grips with the knack of that flick that you need, but now I use it all the time, and it's actually way easier and faster than reaching for the phone or even the watch. The stems now are basically your control center. Of course, press once to play, pause or answer a call, twice to jump forwards, and 3 times to skip backwards, or press and hold to switch between full ANC or transparency. The auto switching seems better tuned and more reliable on AirPods Pro 2 than on other pairs. They just seem to get less confused, and they seem to know better what device to connect to and when, possibly as a result of the newer 5.3 Bluetooth connectivity. The case is much more clever than you might think at first. It holds charge forever, and it seems to charge your AirPods from 0 to around 20% in a quarter of an hour or less. I know there is the Find My feature available with the case now, but I can't tell you how good it is, as I've never lost a pair of AirPods. Famous last words, I know. I've left the case set to optimized charging, and the battery life isn't showing any signs of getting any worse. For me though, the best thing about the case is the MagSafe, meaning you can now charge it with your Apple Watch charger. As for the lanyard loop, I've never used it, but I suppose if you're using these in town, then it might have its uses. I seem to think it also doubles up as an antenna for the Find My feature, so form and function coming together, I guess. Now, spatial audio really comes to life with Apple TV. There are some specially curated spatial audio playlists on Apple Music that you can try out, but if you want to hear it at its best, try using AirPods Pro 2nd Gen with Apple TV. It stunned me how good it was. Now, to the comparison between these AirPods Pro 2 and these AirPods Max, I know it sounds like I must be making this up, but the difference between the two in both terms of sheer audio and noise cancelling is a damn sight closer than it should be. These AirPods Pro Max are more than twice the price and are heavy, over-the-ear, full-on headphones, yet somehow the Pros come surprisingly close. And that tells you not only how good AirPods Pro 2 are, but also how far Apple has come with the H2 chip and the algorithmic mumbo jumbo since the Macs were released. The Macs are better, but not by much. The Pros are more convenient, more comfortable, and easier to use and wear over long periods, and are also half the price, over half the price. The microphones are better on calls as well. Here's the mic quality that you can expect to get using the $550 AirPods Max, and now we're going to compare it against the AirPods Pro 2 and see if there is any difference at all. Don't forget, they're $300 cheaper. And now for your bargain basement $250 AirPods Pro 2s. You let me know, do you think there really is any difference, or certainly an appreciable difference, $300 worth of difference? You be the judge. So much was improved last year with AirPods Pro 2, there isn't really much left to improve on, apart from possibly working on a better lossless codec to stream higher quality music, that is. I'm sure that the AirPods Max will get updated before AirPods Pro get another facelift. The only thing that will probably happen at the iPhone event this year is that a new case will be put on sale with a USB-C port on it, but it's already got MagSafe anyway. It's very much just a tick box change to be seen to be doing the right thing by the EU. And what do you get for that extra $70 for AirPods Pro 2 over AirPods 3rd Gen? Well, the main thing is all those noise cancelling gizmos, the H2 chip, active noise cancelling, and adaptive transparency. You also get MagSafe on the case and that Bluetooth 5.3 connectivity as well. All of that more than adds up to being worth $70 in my eyes. With AirPods Pro 2nd Gen already available on Amazon for £220, almost £30 or dollars cheaper than I paid. If you're looking for a premium pair of in-ear buds, AirPods Pro 2 needs to be the next pair you buy. The fact I use them as much as I do with all the other options I've got should tell you everything. They've got stunningly good audio and fantastic noise cancellation with age-long battery life. Okay, the fit still isn't perfect, but we may just have solved that today anyway. And if you've been using AirPods Pro 2, I'd love to know what you've made of them so far. Do you love them, or have you found any problems I've not covered in this video? And speaking of AirPods Max, have you checked out my recent video where I spoke with other creators to find out what they wanted from the next gen of AirPods Max? If not, now's your chance. Or maybe take a look at one of the other videos I made where I check out if AirPods Max are really worth all of that money in the first place anyway. Thanks for watching, team, and I'll see you again next week.